Hello children, this is your physical education teacher Llewellyn Pinto and we are going to learn something about handball, chapter number 13 of standard 10. Now what is handball? It's a little relation in basketball. So let us see what's up. Handball is a ball game. As the hand is used more in this game, it is called handball. It is mentioned that in 1600 BC, a game similar to the modern handball was played in Athens. In the later half of the 19th century, this game was played in Germany. Its credit goes to the German gymnastic coach, Master Conrad. In 1890 AD, in beginning, as this game was not so popular, it was controlled by the International Amateur Athletic Federation. Gradually, this game became popular and on 4th August 1928 AD during Amsterdam Olympic Games, for the control and development of the game, an organizational board was established. In the year 1946, known as the International Handball Federation, men's handball was introduced in the 1936 Berlin Olympics for the first time and Germany became champion. But after that, this game was not played in Olympics. In 1972 Munich Olympics, men's handball was reintroduced. Women handball was added in 1976 Montreal Olympics. Countries like Germany, Russia, Yugoslavia, Croatia, Spain, France, Egypt, Switzerland, etc. have always dominated the men's handball. While in women's handball, countries like Denmark, Norway, China, Germany, Angola, and USA are leading. Almost all the Indian states are associated with Handball Federation of India, which was established in 1972. Teams from all states and union territories and the teams of services, Birla and Tata Steel plant participate in the open national level tournament and hold top position. At present, School Games Federation of India (SGFI), which administers and regulates the national level school games and for other competitions, Handball Federation of India is looking for it. Administering and regulating the national level school games, School Game Federation of India (SGFI), and for other competitions, Handball Federation of India looking for it. Handball is played in most of the states in both the ways as indoor or outdoor game. So this was a brief history about handball, when it started, how it is and where it was played and when it was introduced in India. So now children, we will look into the ground. So students, it is very important to know the ground if you want to play the particular sport. So in handball, the length of the handball court is 40 meters and the width is 20 meters. Then the goal line or the goal is 3 meters in width and 2 meters in height. So that is the goal post which is used in the handball. Then the first marking, which is a semicircle marking from the goal line, is of 6 meters in radius. So it is a semicircle, and the second is the 9-meter marking. Now there is a 7-meter marking where you can see is a penalty line from where the penalty throw is done. Now the 9-meter mark is the free throw line. So in this way you can see that the handball ground is drawn and played in. There is also a figure, in the figure you can see the bench of substitutes on both the sides of the ground, of the half of the ground. Now the 6-meter mark is also known as the goal area. So as shown in the figure, we will talk about how it is, the real measurements which we discussed before. So the handball court is rectangular in shape. As you can see, it is 40 meters in length and 20 meters in width. So the 40 meters line is called the sideline. while 20 meters line is called as a goal line because the goal post is on that line and the goal is scored on that particular line, so it's called the goal line. A 20 meters long line is drawn in middle so as to divide the ground into two equal parts. This parallel line to the goal line is known as center line. So except the middle line between two goal posts, all the lines on the ground area are of 5 centimeters wide, while the lines between two goal posts are 8 centimeters in width. So there is a difference over there in the ground marking. The surface of the ground is even, dust free and hard. The indoor ground is wooden or made from such synthetic material which will neither be injurious nor is slippery. Then the ground sector lines and its measurements. The goal post. The goal posts are kept in such a way that backside of goal post touches the goal line at back and each goal post is at the center of the goal line at the distance of 3 meters. A 3 meter long pole is kept across on the two standing poles at such height so that the inside measurement is 3 meters into 2 meters. Poles are 8 centimeters wide and 8 centimeters thick. The poles are colored with different colors like white and black or white and red. At the joining area across and down, poles of 28 centimeter part is colored with dark color. After leaving 20 centimeter space, then it is colored black and white or white and red bands one by one. So there is differentiation in the goal post. You can see that it is there are two colors used in the goal post over here in handball, and leaving after a specific space like 20 centimeters and 28 centimeters. The goal post should be made of hard material, hard wood, light metal or other synthetic material. The net is tied in such a way that the ball thrown in net remains in it only instead of bouncing back. So it should cushion the ball when the ball is hit in the net. Now the second one is the goal area. A line parallel to the goal line but 6 meters away. 3 meters long line is drawn from goal post on the inside part of ground in front of each goal post. Taking 6 meters radius, a semicircle is drawn from the goal line, taking the goal post at center. This 6 meter away line from the goal is called a goal area. As I discussed in the shown in the figure, the goal area that is of 6 meters, which is a dark line. Then comes the free throw line. Taking the goal post as center, 9 meters radius line is drawn on both the sides. 3 meters long parallel to the goal area are joined at the end. This 9 meter distance from goal line is drawn as an arc with 15 centimeters gaps, dotted line. It is known as free throw line. So this free throw line, so there is a differentiation between the goal line, goal area line and the free throw line, where you can identify that the free throw line is a dotted line. Then comes the penalty line. A 1 meter long parallel to the goal line, 7 meters away from the goal line, is drawn inside the ground towards the middle line on both the sides. It is known as penalty line or 7 meters line. So as you can see in the figure, that 7 meters line is drawn, and from there the penalty line is marked, which is of 1 meter, and from there mostly the penalties are taken from that particular line, which is at 7 meters away from the goal post. Goalkeeper's restraining line. Goalkeeper's border line is 15 centimeters long in the middle sideline and 4 meters away from the goal line but parallel to it. So this is the goalkeeper's restraining line. Then the place for substitutions. A 15 centimeter long and 15 centimeter outside and at the distance 4.45 meter line from the middle of sideline is drawn near the scorer and timekeeper. So from the center of the ground, center line where we call it, from there we take a distance of 4.45 meters and we draw a line which is 15 centimeters in width, and we draw the area, and this area is used for the substitute players to enter the ground or for the in-play players to come out. So this distance of 4.45 meters line from the middle of sideline is drawn, and from that particular area, from that 4.45 meters area from the center line to first half, from one half and the other half, so this line which is drawn, so that space, from that space only the player can enter the ground or can come out of the ground. The ball, the upper part of the ball is of leather, rubber or synthetic material which does not cause any injury, and it should be of one color. The surface of the ball should not be shined or smoother to slip away, because you are gripping it with the hand, so there should be a little bit of grip on the ball. If it is totally smooth, then you will not be able to hold the ball in the hand. Then also the circumference, that is also very important to grip the ball. So the circumference of the ball shall be 58 to 60 centimeters and weight should be 425 to 475 grams. For boys and girls, the circumference of the ball shall be 54 to 56 centimeters and weight 325 grams to 400 grams. So normally the ball should be of 58 to 60 centimeters and the weight, as you have seen, for 425 to 475 grams. And for boys and girls, for a younger age group, there is a difference over there. The circumference also is less and the weight also is less. Then comes the equipment for game: ball, net, stopwatch, score sheets, green card, yellow card, red card. Each card should be 9 into 12 centimeters. So there the card, the warning card also is given, and in what dimension you have to prepare it is also given over here. Skills of handball. To improve the handball game or to get the command over the game, following skills to be needed. So what is the following skills? They are throwing, passing, catching, shooting, goalkeeping, defense and attack. So these are the basic skills which we require in handball. First is throwing. The releasing of ball in the game from various places in the ground according to the requirement with one hand or with two hands if required for doing a goal is called as throwing. It is essential to have strong wrist, elbow and shoulder joints for effective and good throw. If a player knows from which place, at what height and with what force the ball should be thrown, and if he decides quickly and acts accordingly, then throwing is effective. If there is a slight error in throwing, the aim or throw is not fulfilled and the ball goes in the control of opponent team. Throwing is mainly done in 4 different situations: throw off, throw in, penalty throw and free throw. First is throw off. The game begins with throw off. The team which wins the toss chooses the ground or throw off. Throw off can be taken on either direction of the ground from the middle line or the center line. After the referee blows the whistle, the ball is passed to another player by throw off. After each goal, opponent team restarts the game by throw off. So students, I had already explained to you all that when the ball is restarted, okay, so the center line is used whenever the goal is scored and the game is restarted. So after each goal, it is restarted. So from the middle line of ground. In second half, the game starts with a throw off by the side other than the one who began the game. So if in the first half the A team has started the game with a throw off, then in the second half team B will get a chance to start the game with a throw off. When the throw off is taken, all the players should be at least at a distance of 3 meters from the throw off player. So the minimum distance from the throw off player is 3 meters. Then comes B, throw in. During the game, when the ball goes out of the touch line or the sideline, throw in is given to the team other than the team player thrown whom the ball had gone out. The player who is doing the throw in takes the position from where the ball had gone out. His one leg should be on the sideline and other leg a step behind it. So compulsory while doing the throwing, the one leg should be on the sideline. The ball is to be thrown with the opposite hand of front leg, with the body weight being brought to front leg from the back leg, and the hand with the ball is brought ahead from shoulder or head. When the ball is released, his face should be towards the ground and his leg should be in touch with the sideline. C is penalty throw. When during the game the defending team intentionally comes in between the direct goal, then the attacking team gets the penalty throw. The penalty thrower player will stand 7 meters away, not touching the penalty line, and keeping his strong leg behind it and his other leg behind the front leg, according to his convenience. His strong arm, the one opposite to the front leg, will throw the ball, bringing his back stretched hard with ball above the head. The body weight is on the back leg. For throwing quickly, the back leg is brought ahead and body weight is shifted to the front leg. The hand with the ball is brought ahead in front with complete wrist power, and the ball is shot for goal. So you can see in the figure how the player is shooting the ball in a penalty throw. So the stronger leg is kept in the front and the other leg is kept at the back and with the opposite hand. So the ball is thrown in the net from the 7-meter mark of the penalty. Then comes free throw. When during the game the defense player gets the ball from opponent against the law or rule or tries to take the ball away from attacker in a wrong way by creating a foul, then attacking team gets a free throw. Free throw is done from the 9-meter mark. So that's the dotted line which we had seen in the first figure. The dotted line, that is a 9-meter line and that is a free throw line. So the attacker gets a free throw from the 9-meter line. When free throw is taken, all the players should be behind the 9-meter line except the goalkeeper. The free throw player will also stand behind the 9-meter line and he will pass the ball to his teammates or shoot for the goal. So he can even pass, he can even shoot directly in the goal. When it is free throw, then there should be distance of 3 meters between the free thrower and the defense player. So when the foul is given and is taken on the 9-meter mark, then minimum distance which we had discussed has to be maintained, which is 3 meters from the attacking player. Then comes passing. The process of giving the ball to other teammate is called passing. It is necessary for the players of the team to play with cooperation and cleverly in handball. Passing skill is very important in the situation like to take the ball ahead quickly, to break the cover when surrounding in it. According to the situation and need, the passing is done in different styles. The styles are as follows. So now we will see the different types of passing. First is the chest pass. During the play, if the teammate is very near 2 to 3 meters and there is no opponent player present in between, then chest pass is done. Chest pass is done with one hand or both the hands. The two legs are normally apart. This is the procedure which I am speaking now and explaining you all. So you can see in the figure also how the hand position is to catch the ball, so and to pass the ball. So for passing the ball, the body weight is shifted ahead, both hands are straightened from elbow, and with jerk the ball is passed with one hand to the teammate at chest height. The balance is maintained by putting the back leg in front. For passing with one hand, the ball is held with the fingers of stronger hand, keeping them apart, in which the back side of palm will face the chest, and supporting the ball with other hand. The back leg is brought forward and with strong hands jerk, the ball is passed to the teammate at chest height. Then comes the bounce pass. Now see, we are talking about passing. So first was the chest pass. Before this we were talking about the throws and the penalties. So now we come back to bounce pass. So you can now almost know that these skills are almost similar to basketball. Okay, in that also overhead or chest pass was there and bounce pass was there. So we talk about bounce pass. When the own team player is near, an opponent player is in between, and that time for attacking no other pass can be done, then bounce pass is used. It is same as chest pass, only it is made sure that in this pass the ball bounces at the feet of the opponent player on the ground and reaches the teammate. So you can see it in the figure. While releasing the ball, instead of one or both the hands parallel to the ground, one or both the hands are stretched in the direction where the ball is going to bounce and the pass is completed. Now students will discuss the rest of the lesson in the next part. Thank you.